Welcome to another great edition of Comet Algebra. This video is for Algebra 1, Chapter 4, Section 3, Solving Inequalities. All right, this is not much different than Section 2. That was one-step equations, and this one is two-step equations. So just to remind you that we solve inequalities using the undoing method. And please remember, if you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, you need to flip the inequality. So let's go right into the examples. We have 2x minus 6. If you recall, we're doing PEMDAS backwards, so we need to start by adding a 6 to both sides. And of course, that doesn't change the inequality. And the last step here is to divide by 2, and since you're dividing by a positive 2, again, no effect on that inequality sign. So the answer is just x greater than or equal to 5. Moving on to example 2, again, we'd start with the adding and subtracting part. So we're going to add a 6 to both sides. So I get negative 3x is greater than or equal to a negative 18. And now we divide both sides by that negative 3. And we, of course, realize that since we're dividing by negative, we must flip this inequality, and then we'll get x is less than or equal to 6. All right, moving on to example 3. Again, we start by adding a 2 to both sides. So I get x divided by 8 is less than or equal to 2. The opposite of dividing by 8 is multiplying by 8. And I'm just going to put it over 1 to help me realize the fraction that it's in the numerator. 8 divided by 8 is 1, so I have x is less than or equal to 16. Moving on to example 4, we're going to start by adding a 9 to both sides, which gives me 7x is greater than negative 28. Dividing both sides by 7, again, does not change the inequality. So I have x is greater than a negative 4 for the final answer. Now example 5, I notice I have x's on both sides of the equation, or inequality really. So you do have to get the x's together on one side and the numbers together on the other. I like my x's on the left side of the inequality, but you are free to do whatever step you'd like to first. I'm going to subtract a 7x from both sides. And that gives me negative 2x plus 9 is greater than a negative 3. So the next step is to subtract a 9 from both sides. So I get negative 2x is greater than negative 12. The last step now, when I have to divide both sides by negative 2, again, I realize that I'm changing the inequality. So I get x is less than 6 for my final answer. All right, this last example is a not equal to one. And so you pretty much do everything the same as you did with an equal, and we'll just find out what the answer is not. All right, if you recall, we do need to start with our distribution. So let's distribute this 7 first. So I have 7x minus 14 plus 5 is not equal to, and I can go ahead and combine these like terms, and we'd get negative x plus 15. Over here, we can go ahead and combine these like terms, and that would give me minus 9 is not equal to negative x plus 15. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add an x to both sides, and I'm going to add a 9. I'm going to do 2 steps at once here, so I hope that's okay with you. 7x plus 1x is 8x, and this is not equal to 15 and 9 is 24. Last step, divide both sides by 8, and so I get the fact that x is not equal to 3. And so what this means is that x can be anything else, but it's just not equal to 3. All right, now you have the next. So have fun with math.